everybody. Well, I am going to go ahead and get started. We've got a lot of information to go over today, and I don't want to waste a lot of time. So this meeting will be recorded for anybody who joins late. So I'm Rob Martonczyk, Senior Principal Product Manager. I just recently joined the Platform Experience team, but I have been with ServiceNow for about 8 years. I've been in the employee workflows organization as a product manager there, and I've recently joined the platform experience working with knowledge management and knowledge management with Now Assist. I'm going to bring up the safe harbor slide for anybody who's joined pretty much any of our ServiceNow meetings. You've probably seen and love this slide. But this is just to let you know that along with the information about Xanadu's release, and the features that we've included or updated in Xanadu, we're also going to talk a little bit about things that we're working on and might be coming in soon after Xanadu releases. So this statement just talks about don't make any investment decisions about things that aren't GA'd yet. Everything that we talk about that's forward looking is subject to change. So we're going to do our best to provide you great information, but everything's subject to change. General housekeeping notes. We've saved time at the end of this presentation for Q&A after I demo a couple of things, and then we'll talk a little bit about where we're going after Xanadu for a little bit, and then talk about some resourcing. So we'll try and get to all the questions that are asked. So shortly after this presentation, we will post the presentation on the community site with any of the questions and answers, as well as the PDF slide deck. So today's goals. Today was the Xanadu general availability. We'll discuss and demo changes in the Xanadu release, and we'll also talk about a few of the store releases that occurred a little before Xanadu and some of them that are going to occur probably before the end of the year. We just want to show that we're taking some of the great advancements and trying to keep iterating on them, especially in this realm of Gen AI and Now Assist. The first thing I want to set up is we have a ton of great resources available online through our knowledge management product hub through the community. On the community, when you go to product hubs, you will see under platform knowledge management, you'll have guides to help get started with knowledge management. There'll be the helpful recordings and QA documents, like I just mentioned, from Academy programs, as well as any other types of events that we host that we post there. There will be training resources there, as well as links to additional training resources that you can get to around knowledge management and other related topics, and specific release information. The reason I really wanted to hit this first is because all of the information that we cover today will be available there, but there's also past academies posted there as well, including a couple of getting started videos on how to start rolling out knowledge management, process and role deep dives, things that look into how to do reporting and dashboarding with knowledge management, and again, a Now Assist deep dive for knowledge management. So without much further ado, let's start talking about what came out in Xanadu. So the high level items that we're going to cover today are knowledge management dashboard updates. So we've moved the dashboards to a more modern look and feel and user interface. We've enhanced them a little bit, and we want to talk through how to use the dashboards. We will be talking about the knowledge management dashboard updates. We'll also talk about the Now Assist enhancements with knowledge management. And anybody that attended the June Academy knows that we rolled out Now Assist with knowledge management, and it was some first steps with Now Assist for knowledge. We've rolled that into the family release for Xanadu, and we've extended it a little bit. And we'll talk about some changes coming post Xanadu with Now Assist for knowledge management as well. We'll take a look at the knowledge portal now with AI search. And lastly, one of my favorite sections for today, we'll dive a little bit into the HTML editor within knowledge management. So let's get into the feature details. So we have updated the dashboards within knowledge management. So now the dashboards are using the next experience presentation. We've moved from the responsive dashboards on the older technology to now leverage the next experience to get that great visuals, great ability to click through, have tabbed interface that's engaging, but we've also extended some of the reports. So this was released in Xanadu, and I want to jump over to a demo of that now. All right. So the knowledge management overview dashboard looks like this. So we have updated the look and feel so that now it's using the newest next experience presentation layer. But you get all of the things that a knowledge manager would need to check on how the process is running, look at the state of the knowledge bases in general, break down data into different slices, and dig into that data to find out if there's any problems or anywhere where we need help. So here on the article lifecycle, you can see things like articles that have been recently created, articles that are currently in review, hopefully things that will get published soon, articles that have been in review for more than 30 days. Maybe one of our reviewers is out and we need to check just to make sure that those are progressing. Articles in draft state. So one of the tenets of KCS methodology is that you want to have your agents submitting draft articles as issues come in to try and spread that wealth of knowledge. So if you have implemented that process, you might see these numbers increase and be able to keep track of how our agents are actually generating knowledge using Now Assist to generate knowledge and the impacts of that. You can look at articles by workflow state, articles updated in the last 30 days, and everybody's favorite, articles expiring in the next 90 days. So now we can catch articles that might be getting a little stale or articles that need to be updated before they expire. So this used to be handled primarily with email notifications, and we know there were a lot of customers that had made comments that if people left the organization that were assigned to update expired articles, maybe they would get lost in the ether. So that's a little bit about the life cycle. On the article feedback, we can see items flagged, items marked as not helpful, comments that have been added. So all of this is taking that feedback for constant improvement in our knowledge articles, finding somewhere where we can get in and go look at that feedback to see what we're doing right and what we're doing wrong or what we could be doing better. We have the average article rating. So that's one of the key measures for how we're doing as a knowledge management organization, how articles are getting consumed, used, how easy they are to find, etc. And then article ratings in the last 30 days. So let's trend this and see if we're improving over time. Next, we have article usage. So how many articles are being used? I apologize. This is a brand new instance that I've refreshed just for this demo. So don't have a ton of demo data in here. The graphs are a little silly looking, but they still make their point. Here you can see how many articles have been used recently in what knowledge bases. It would be a stat graph similar to the views on the right-hand side where you can see article views as well as knowledge use trended over time. And lastly, author metrics. So looking at our authors, who's authoring, how frequently are articles being created, edited, etc. So we're really excited about the knowledge management overview dashboard and the new presentation. But what's really cool is this uses the performance analytics components that allow you to extend this and edit it if you have the role and abilities, so you can change up this presentation to your needs as well. Next, really excited about this, generating knowledge articles with Now Assist. If you have Now Assist for ITSM, CSM, HRSD, you get Now Assist for Knowledge as well. This helps our agents generate knowledge based on information in the task that we're resolving. So you can draft articles from out of the box. It's configured for resolved incidents and cases. So as soon as you have a resolution in there, you can click to create knowledge. And when you do, it Now Assist offers up assistance to help generate an article, either the standard or KCS templates today. We are working on extending to additional templates, but right now the available ones to use with Now Assist are the standard template or the KCS template. And that came out, I apologize, that came out just before Xanadu. I believe it was Washington Patch 3, where we started incorporating Now Assist for knowledge management. With the August, that was trued up to Xanadu with the family release. But as of the August store release, we also introduced leveraging similar tasks to generate better drafts. So not only use the task that you're creating, knowledge that the incident that you're working, if there are other related similar incidents to what you're working on that maybe other agents have resolved and put in their resolution notes, I mean, they're finding the way that the customer phrased the challenge to them, you can actually now let Now Assist use up to 5 additional similar items in generating that draft knowledge article. So it gives a little bit more information and creates a little bit richer of a generated knowledge article. Let's take a look at what that looks like. So here I've got an incident pulled up. This is incident 37. A employee has called in saying that their warp drive in their laptop is not working. It's not functioning correctly. And we've walked this incident through troubleshooting with some work notes, put in here that a solution was provided, resolved with the Kalinsky warp speed test procedures for the test of that drive. So what we'll see here within the incident is we have the ability to create knowledge from this resolved incident. Whenever I click that, I get a prompt simply because I have multiple templates turned on. It asks what knowledge base this article belongs in and what template I want to use. So for simplicity of visual right now, I'm going to choose the standard template and create article. So by doing this, it sets up a blank knowledge article for me. And if I have the mapping from the resolution fields in the summary, it will go ahead and pull that into the article body, just like it always has. After that, it will ask, will we like to use AI to draft this article? If you say no, you can continue as you normally do and write your article yourself. But if you say yes, draft with Now Assist, it will go and search to see if there's any other incidents that are representative of, this similar thing that we're troubleshooting. Either, short descriptions line up a little bit or something else in the incident is the same. Here you can see that it has denoted 3 that look similar. I can go check out these incidents in depth, or I could look quickly. These all look like warp tests that seem to be having the same issue. So I can say, yeah, let's go ahead and use those to generate an article draft. Now Assist Write will go ahead and attempt to look through those different articles and draft something for me. You saw what I had put in as the resolution note. What this went through and did is it looked through all those other incidents and the language model and created an article for me that describes what the issue is, taking descriptions from things that may have been recorded in the work notes about what the caller stated, or items that we talked about in the work info, what was in the summary and the description. Then it tries to decipher what the cause was and puts those notes in. One thing that I really like is if it can't find the cause, it will drop in useful text like the root cause of this issue is not explicitly stated in the case details, but some things that we could try or what appear. It's even suggesting what might be the problem. Then in the resolution, you can see that the Now Assist even use bulleted or numbered lists to help write useful information and generate an article. So just what this does is it takes that blank page anxiety away from the agent, so they're not so worried about how do I translate this quick little resolution I put in into something that's formatted, uses decent language, uses bulleted lists, etc. It takes some of that away and quickly generates an article where the agent can then focus on making sure the article's on point, making sure that it's accurate to what was done, and make sure it outlines, the things that should be communicated as the resolution, and then simply allows the agent to submit this as a draft to the process. I'm not going to get into a lot of KCS methodology here, but it is just interesting to talk about a little bit. But many organizations don't have their agents submitting knowledge, but if you do, this allows you to quickly get knowledge in the hands of other agents that might be troubleshooting this similar problem. You could think about something like this where there is a known issue that is occurring in the environment. Maybe somebody rolled out a software patch or a hardware firmware patch to something, and we're getting a ton of calls. If you expose the drafts to your agents, they can start using this stuff straight away. So it's a great little time saver, and you can save this. So this is an example using knowledge management within ITSM. But again, this is also available within CSM. I'm sorry, I think I said ITSM. Within incident management, this is within CSM here. You'll get that same create knowledge option at the top whenever you put a customer service case into a resolve state, and you will get the same type of pop-ups where you can create an article and use whichever template you would like to use. You create the article. In this instance, you'll notice that there was not similar matching cases, so it didn't pop up the dialogue. And we will generate a draft. And there you go. All right, you see it even pulled additional resources that might be relevant to help with this. So now let's talk about one of the next big things with Xanadu. So we introduced the knowledge management service portal a little bit ago, replacing the V3 portal. And we did this primarily because this is built on the latest and greatest Next experience. It leverages the service portal technology so that you can create widgets, you can define the look and feel, you can make this work the way you want it to. The benefit with Xanadu, what we've introduced, is now the knowledge portal, in addition to being able to use the Zing search, can use AI search. This allows for more natural language use of the knowledge portal when searching. This really helps when you have a lot of knowledge articles in your environment, which I do not, but I will try and give some quick examples here. So the knowledge portal, if you are a customer that's been with us for a little while and you had rolled out the V3 homepage for knowledge, whenever you upgrade to Washington, if you want to go to the new knowledge management service portal and homepage instead, you will have to change a system property for redirects to the new portal. But anybody who is installed at Washington or later, this will be the default in the system. If you choose AI search and choose to configure that and enable it, it will become available on the knowledge service portal as well. So let's take a look at a couple of things like how do I update my email signature? So here you can see that I typed a straightforward question, and it will typed a natural language question, and it went through and found all the knowledge results that were relevant. And I have the ability to jump straight into an article, provide feedback, mark this as helpful or not, and even if I have it turned on, provide feedback and comments directly to help guide how this article can be better. This also works with things like phishing. So here, in general, AI search prefers when you type in more information. So type in a human-like question or type in a phrase, but it does still work if you type in single words. So here, phishing, we don't have a lot of information in our knowledge base around phishing, but the articles that we do have are pretty explicit, and you can see that phishing comes up with a couple of relevant articles and attempts to provide you information about how to avoid phishing scams directly on the knowledge portal. The knowledge portal is the default post Washington. If you turn on AI search, it gives you the ability to leverage your AI search here. Some common questions we've been getting about this are, hey, we've been using the V3 portal for a while. Can we do a lot of the same stuff that we're doing in that portal with the knowledge service portal? And the answer is yes. So there's some additional guides and best practices and recommendations and help out on the community about how to make the service portals look and feel the way you want and how to use the knowledge management service portal. All right, let's talk Tiny. So next is the HTML editor. The built-in HTML editor that we leverage is TinyMCE. TinyMCE, as of Xanadu, has been upgraded to version 6. With version 6, we get a little bit of a enhanced look and feel, but we also get a few additional plugins that we're really excited about. One of them is Power Paste for pre-formatted text. So this works with things like Office 365, cutting and pasting out of a Word document directly into the interface, or maybe you use Google Docs. It does a much better job at trying to keep those formats and styles in place whenever you cut and paste directly into the TinyMCE editor. So it does a great job at that. You can see some of this that I cut and pasted into the screen, but we'll go to a demo here in just a second. But I really like Power Paste. It's kind of been game changing for pasting stuff into knowledge articles. Next is one of the long-standing questions that the customers have been asking about for a while, but V6 introduced the ability for us to introduce the accordion plugin. The accordion plugin, accordions were something that people have been able to do for a while with ServiceNow knowledge articles, but you had to do it in HTML code directly. So switch to the scripting view to be able to edit and do it. It was pretty time consuming. Now with V6, we get accordion. There's a button on the toolbar that allows you to create an accordion, and then you can drop anything into that section that you want within that accordion, and it will be able to dynamically open and close. So this is great whenever you have really large articles where certain pieces of information may be well understood and you just want to hide those until somebody needs to dig in. Or if you have things that are outlined for different specific types of hardware, etc., you might be able to use accordions in that way. And lastly is anchors. I like anchors a lot. Anchors give you the ability to jump to certain places within an article. So if you want a way to jump from the top of article, maybe the way I like to use it is jump straight to the resolution. So I don't need to know, how this was occurring, what the issue is, or what the cause was. I just want to know how to fix it, give you that ability to jump right to the resolution. Or, as we were talking about in a longer article, you might be able to jump to certain places within that article that are specific sections that are called out, again, for a longer article. And lastly, a common way that people use it is at the bottom of an article, being able to jump back to the top from within an article. So I see a couple of emojis popping up. I'm glad everybody's excited as I am to have especially accordions in there. Let's go ahead and take a look at a demo of this as well. So for now, why not just use this article that we generated? This, again, was an article draft generated by Now Assist, right? And it's even imploring you, please be sure to review it for accuracy before saving. Sometimes AI is a little exacting in what it captures out of cases. So we want to make sure that we go in and just make sure everything's exactly how we want it to be. But let's say, we don't like to necessarily expose the cause to our team. Perhaps that's just implicit and they can look at it if they want. Here, I can expand this little icon. I can press the insert accordion button and an accordion will show up on cause. I can then take the information here. Oh, excuse me. I can take the information here and just paste it into the accordion body and then close it out of my way. So when you're editing, the collapse and open is with the button. When you're viewing, it's with the little icon. So there's the accordion in place. Now, as I mentioned, sometimes we like to create an anchor. So we've got an anchor tab and we can just say, jump to the resolution, save. You highlight that and you insert a link like you always would have. When you click the link, you'll notice that there's now an anchors field and you can list any of the anchors within your article to jump to. And then you can also, so you can save that and then now it will jump straight to that anchor. You get a little flag to let you know that that is an anchor. All right, and the last thing I want to show in this little presentation here in this knowledge article. So just for the sake of not clicking around so much, let's say that this is all wrong and I just want to start over. I can actually just craft something. I can craft something in Word and cut and paste. It will now ask me, do we want to keep formatting or remove formatting from what I'm pasting? And here my Word document was this ugly, but here you can see that I've just cut and paste directly a article out of a Word document, maintaining the lines, maintaining tables, maintaining images, maintaining unnumbered lists and sections within this article. So the Power Paste is the feature that allows us to maintain a lot of that formatting. All right, here we go. That is the big changes coming in Xanadu for knowledge management. The dashboard, yes, I see a question about, can the knowledge dashboard filter on knowledge bases? That uses our performance analytics components that allows you to create filters and edit the way that those lay out. You can also dig down into each of those components there in the dashboard. You should be able to edit the timescales as well on those widgets and be able to tailor those dashboards as needed. Yes, the article expiring report is based on the valid to date field. There was just a question from a late joiner. Yes, again, this recording will be posted and we will also on the community post a PDF version of the slide deck and the Q&A. Any of the questions that we don't get to, we will post there as well. I think some of these questions that are listed here can be answered with some workflows. I will try and put that in the write-up of these documents, where to find information about how we can do things like set certain flags for things that need to be followed up on, or I will also drop a link for how to configure dashboards and all the great customization and configuration that can be done there. I think that's worth a whole workshop in itself. And maybe I'll do one of these academies if desired, where we can just dig into knowledge management specific dashboarding and reporting that's relevant to knowledge managers. I think that might be a great thing. So again, just any topics, make sure you call them out in the survey at the end of this presentation so that we know which ones to attack next. Next, I want to talk about looking forward beyond Xanadu. So we popped up the safe harbor slide at the beginning of this. This is what falls a lot into that realm. These are forward-looking statements about things that we're working on, so please don't make any investment decisions based on this information. We try and provide the best information we can. I'm not going to give you any hard dates in this presentation just because things tend to shift around a little bit, but for the most part, we're trying to get these in-store releases before the end of the year. Next, we're looking for more TinyMCE enhancements. There's a lot of great functionality that's provided there. One of the things that we've been asked about is the accessibility checker. So that is in the roadmap path, so that as you're getting in there and generating articles, you can have TinyMCE review those articles and just make sure that they're accessible. Next, multi-language support for Gen AI. So we know how tough it is just to maintain a knowledge base, but then whenever you're global and you want to have that global reach and you want to have languages available for versions of your article, we want that to be easy as well. So we're going to be introducing additional multiple language support for Gen AI. So we already have some great automated translation of articles. You will continue to see advancement in that and the multi-language support for Gen AI. AI search with knowledge blocks. This is a gap right now in what we're doing with AI search. Knowledge blocks have created a little bit of a challenge for the AI search feature. So this is already being worked on, and we're working on a targeted release date to include this, to update the AI search to not only search your knowledge articles, but those articles that are tailored specific to employee profiles so that they show relevant content will be workable with AI search as well. Now, the more the better with TinyMC. We know there's a lot of stuff. I would say the number one question and comment I get around knowledge management is a lot that people are trying to do with design and look and feel of articles. And I just want to go ahead and talk about that a little bit right now, since we talked about TinyMC and we're still doing that. Right now, AI, Gen AI, searching, indexing everything internal to knowledge, external to ServiceNow even, we want to be able to search everything. I like to tell people that I think for the most part, the layman, whenever they say knowledge management, they're actually talking about search, right? We all know that's near and dear to us that knowledge management is much more of a process around governance and getting information out that's concise, accurate, and useful. But when everybody's talking about knowledge externally, they're really talking about searching for things. So one of the big keys with knowledge, which is kind of where AI goes to learn, they go to your knowledge base, right? Your knowledge sources. You've got to make it consumable. So right now, I think in the future going forward, there's going to be a big balance between the look and feel and dynamics, treeing ability of knowledge articles versus creating very concise and on point articles that contain a lot of the answer right there. And this is covered in depth in a best practices for knowledge creation with Gen AI and AI search. There's a great document about that on our website. And I just want to touch on that here while we're talking about TinyMCE and all the things coming for formatting. So you will continue to see us work on creating better ways to work with generating great looking articles to make editing easier. But we also have that balance that we want to make sure that we're maintaining as we try and make things consumable for search. So the last update here I want to talk about is the WWNA. I've even been told this name is likely to change, but what this is Write with Now Assist is the technology that makes that knowledge generation work. We are now going to say you can highlight an area of that generated article and right click on it and be able to shorten or expand on what was generated. So if something is a little bit too verbose and you want to knock it down, you'll be able to shorten it, or if it's just not clear enough what it's trying to get at, to expand it and make it have a little bit more information where possible. working on in the near term. The roadmap is a lot further reaching than this. There's a lot of great stuff coming, but these are the things that I want to talk about in the near term. If you do have ideas that we should be thinking about, please include those in your surveys, or feel free to send those to your account if you have some great ideas of what we should be doing. So as promised, I wanted to cycle back real quick and talk about knowledge management resources. The knowledge management fundamentals and implementation courses on Now Learning are basically a requirement. I mean, these things are great. They walk you through all of the reasons that we design knowledge, how we did, why, how it's built, how all the roles and workflows work, how you can extend to make workflows as easy as instant publish, all the way to as complicated as creating a procedure that has to go through multiple approval reviews, etc. So highly recommend this. I've gotten my badges from these courses as well as I've joined these teams. Use the knowledge management guided setup that's become available to help you roll out specifically how to roll out knowledge management, and it guides you through all the things that you need to set up. One of the things that I didn't talk about so much, I meant to show on the screen, but kind of got ran short on time, is there's an admin console for AI search that's very intuitive. It walks you through how to configure AI search. We've got great documents, including on the knowledge management community, but on all the communities around getting those search results better. Even a brief webinar where we talk to the AI search team. It's posted on community where we talk to 2 subject matter experts and they walk through all the things you need to be thinking about. So great thing there. And lastly, the Knowledge Management Product Hub on community is where you can access all the past academies. It's where this will be posted. It's where you can get information about the current releases and find links to all the training. And I'm going to plug everybody else's academies. So there's been a lot of questions about workflows in the chat, a few questions about reporting. I saw a question about mobile design and making things dynamic. So there's academies from each of our teams about how to build this stuff. So I just want to plug these on the screen. They're very easy to get to, and I highly recommend taking these academies. What I like about them is they're nice and short, and they're focused on a specific subject. So you can generally find something real easy to consume right there in the academies. So that is the end of my presentation material. I don't know if you have the ability to come off mute, or Deepa, if there was anything that you think I need to cover that we went through, but we just have a few more minutes. So I'm going to start looking back through the Q&A. Right, looks like there's some celebration about the tiny MCE changes, the editor. Yes, there's many companies that aren't turning on Now Assist, looking what AI is going to mean going forward. So we have customers at every state. What we've got here is we've configured the system to be to allow you to use it as you are and grow into the different features. The only thing that we ask that you consider is just design your articles with that intent of where you'll probably be tomorrow. Just knowing where things are heading, make articles consumable. Think about how to make them more relevant, how to put in, when you design an article, make sure that you include the voice of the customer so that whenever people search for it, it's in that voice, so that your relevancy score goes up. Make sure that you enable all the great feedback features that we have available in knowledge management: feedback, marking helpful, marking not helpful, and the commenting feature, so that you can make sure that you keep creating better articles that become more relevant to searches. Does the KM portal still work without Employee Center being used, or would you need to use the V3 portal? The KM service portal is standalone without the V3 portal. I hope that answers, if that would help. Actually, we've only got about 4 minutes left. There's a whole presentation and academy on that. So I would recommend you look at that. I will try and put some more information on where to find that in your answer after this meeting. So this is another reporting question. Is there any metadata created or some other way we can easily create report from articles created via Now Assist? It's a great question. I believe the answer is yes. I will put the specifics in after this presentation for a more specific answer, Dominic. I apologize, I don't have that one right offhand, but I believe the answer is yes. Yes, you can use all of these features in HR as well, as long as you have Now Assist for HR. All right. Okay, and then coming back to the custom templates, yes, right now it's the KCS and standard templates that we have. This has been on the roadmap. It is something we knew was going to be an obvious question as soon as we started rolling this out. All right, there are a ton of great questions in here. I am having a hard time reading and answering at the same time. So I'm just going to go ahead and call this a day on this Academy session. I want to thank everybody for coming. Please provide feedback in our survey. This was my first Academy, my first large group presentation like this. So I hope you enjoyed it. I hope it was useful to you. Any feedback you can give on presentation style or how we could do this better. And primarily, please give me feedback on what you would like to see in these hour-long sessions in the next coming months, because we're trying to put a calendar together. Thank you, everybody, for your time, and I will post this as soon as I can. Have a great week.